Attention. Welcome to the Different Spectrums podcast. We dive into the wild world of mental health discussions. Get ready for profound talks, a sprinkle of humor and sarcasm, and a touch of colorful language. Just a quick heads up, our show reflects our individual opinions, which may not align with the standpoint of the podcast, our featured guests, or any related corporate entities. Our mission? To illuminate through laughter and satire because everyone needs a good chuckle. Chill out and don't stress over the small stuff. Legal troubles? No, thank you. Cancel culture? Please spare us. We'd rather keep this space lawsuit free. So buckle up, have a good time, and join us as we navigate the vibrant realm of mental health on the Different Spectrums podcast. Today's episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. By using our link, you can get 10% off your first month of therapy. So, Naz, as a therapist on BetterHelp, what has your experience been like?
I've been doing it since January 2021, and it's been really fun and exciting. I've been able to reach clients all over the United States and the world. I've had good relationships. I've had folks that I've had for a couple months and a good handful where I've had for almost 2 years now. So it's magnificent. I've enjoyed my time and my clients. I love them.
Awesome. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging, however you feel the most comfortable. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you all from the comfort of your own home. Visit betterhelp.com/DSP or choose Different Spectrums podcast during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Hey everybody, we back again.
Hey, we're back. We're live.
I'm Spencer. Of course, we have our licensed clinical therapist, Naz.
Big Peppy. Oh, they call me Unc. Unc Nas.
Oh no. Oh no. Don't go on Instagram Live. It's not going to be good.
Nope.
Micheal. All right. Anyways, remember, don't take us too seriously.
Or do. Completely up to you.
There you go. Also, don't forget to run up those likes for us. We'd really appreciate it. So we have special guests for today. They are a founder and president of Dueling Minds, which is a nonprofit that supports those in the ADHD community. He is also a public speaker and a coach that you can work with on his own site called ADHDruids.com. There it is. Got it. Please welcome Michael Ruffin to the show. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here. I'm very honored.
Here we go.
Glad to have you.
Been trying to sink my teeth into him for like a good year now.
Yeah, no, it was a little bit of a ride to get here.
It was. We'll talk about it though.
Yeah.
But you're here. How you
sure will.
How you feeling today? You okay today?
Oh yeah, doing great.
All right.
Like things are going in all the right directions. So that's always good.
That sounded pretty ADHD. They're going in all the right directions.
Yes. Somehow the ducks are in a row. For now.
For now. I like my autism in a row.
Exactly. The autism is kind of taking the wheel a little bit right now.
Okay. I'll kick it back to Spence. Kick it back to Spence.
All right. So today we are covering the hit, long-standing show, One Piece. Yes, the legendary One Piece.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about a few things here, right? We're going to be talking about autism. We're going to be talking about ADHD. And we're also going to be talking about other great things.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah. We're going to be talking about it all. But we have a great show lined up for everybody. Naz, anything before we get into the show?
Excited to talk to Michael. Right, we've been knowing each other since like day one of Threads, which just had its anniversary. So these are one of the original OG spans where like we're all memeing each other and shit, and we don't even know each other, and yet we're tagging each other. And so I reached out to him a long time ago. And, we get busy. I get busy. They get busy. It is what it is. And I'm just glad to have them. We're going to talk about One Piece. I know it's a really big fan favorite for a lot of folks. A lot of folks that are neurodivergent, a lot of folks that are autistic. So I've been wanting to get to this for a while. So I'm glad we're doing that. We also might pivot and talk about being ace and what that means, because Michael also got some information on that and how that could be represented. But we're going to dig into these scenes. We're going to have some fun with these scenes. It's going to be an ADHD ride. As you know, whenever we have other folks that are ADHD and coaches, we tend to go on the little tangents. What did Dr. Matt call him? She always called him something. And when she tagged us in the reels, maybe it was just tangent or like little side quests.
I like to call them, side quests.
What side quests?
We got to go on all the side quests and explore every nook and cranny before we partake in the main quest.
I love a good nook and cranny now. I don't know.
You got to get the nook and cranny.
There's a good looking nook right there.
You got to pay attention to them.
You got to get in there. All
right. Calm down, Shannon Sharp. All right.
Oh my God. Just really excited. We're going to have some fun today, right? It's always good to have fun. So this might be a little bit lighter of a pod too, which is good because we got some heavy pods coming up in the next 2 months. Let's have some fun. Let's chop it up with the homie. Whoop, whoop.
Do it. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, wait, are you talking about me? You want me to talk?
You got to whoop, whoop it.
I got whoop whoop it. Oh, okay. Whoop whoop. Sorry.
There you go.
The brain went somewhere else.
What is happening?
I got distracted.
Full autism panic.
It was like, I was supposed to follow the rules. I didn't know what the rules were.
It's fine. We do that on purpose to freak people out. Let's get to the show.
The City of Gold, the Emerald Ruins, and the Great One Piece. The fools who dream of these fictional treasures don't notice the real treasures that surround them. In this age of oceans, the very men who are brave enough and capable of navigating currents end up chasing these ridiculous dreams and die in the process. Whenever people speak of these dead idiots, they always say he was happy because he died living his dreams. Ha! No, he died because he was a fool. So when I see people chasing dreams of One Piece, I get disgusted!
Luffy!
You're a weak pirate, just like they were. And as long as you're hacking around, you'll make us, the real pirates, look like trash.
Get out of here, you scrawny punk. You're killing our buzz.
Way to go, Bellamy!
Get lost, you bloody Bellamy! Bellamy, give these people what they want. Tear into them!
I'd be more than happy to entertain. Yeah.
Luffy, Zoro, forget all that pacifist crap I was talking about earlier and take this jerk out!
Zoro. No matter what happens, don't fight back.
So, you're weak and you have no pride. You refuse to get into a fight, and your head is swimming with silly daydreams. They sound like children. More like little girls. My work here is done. When I heard a bounty worth 30 mil was in town, I wondered what kind of a badass crook came with it. Needless to say, I'm more than a little let down. I'm bored with these cowards. Quick, get them out of my face. Bye, ladies.
Straw Hat, don't do this. It's my fault. I'm the one who screwed up, okay? Please don't forget your promise. Like I said, you can't defy the celestial dragons even if they kill someone. There was a time when I was a pirate, a criminal. This is the punishment I deserve for doing all of those horrible things. I didn't mean for everything to turn out like this. I just wanted to make amends with Nami however I could. Even if it wasn't much, I wanted to be helpful to you and your crew. But I screwed that up, I guess, just like every other time. I wanted to do something right for once and show Nami how sorry I am.
Hachi!
All my life, all I've ever done is cause trouble. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
That's enough! Stop all that annoying babbling, fish, before I shut you up for good! How dare you! Don't look at me like that!
You're gonna get in really big trouble! Don't do it!
Easy. You see this?
Straw Hat Luffy.
He's serious.
Now you're annoying me too!
そうさ、アトラスとヘラクレスは世界中の人間の憧れなんだぞ。へえ、カブトムシが知らねえのかよ。めったに捕まえられねえんだ。ワンピースとどっちがすごいんだ？難しい。
Hey everyone, have you been looking for something to help you when you feel extra fidgety? How about when you have a sensory overload? Well, I'm here to introduce you to the Oh No Fidget Roller. It helps me regulate and also feel at ease. The Ono roller comes in 5 different materials, including plastic, aluminum, steel, titanium, and silicone. You can use our code DSP10 to get 10% off your order when you visit onoroller.com and get your roll on. And we're back again.
Hey, we're back and we're live. Hide your cats, hide your dogs. You motherfuckers.
Got one cooking.
Got one
Got one
cooking. That you're vegetarian. Michael's out there showing that street meat, boy. I'm sorry.
He disobeyed one too many times.
Oh my God. It's not even your dog, it's your neighbor's dog. I'm sorry, people. There was just a lot of funny stuff.
Leash your pets. That's the moral of the story.
Yep.
Leash your pets.
Leash your pets. Spayed, neuter your dogs.
They taste better.
Oh my God. They're pure. I'm sorry. It's politics. Stuff gets said. I'm autistic as shit, and I can't stop repeating stuff. So it is what it is. But we're back and we're live.
Yes, we are. We sure are.
Yeah.
Before we get into everything, just wanted to say, rest in peace to the late and the great James Earl Jones. Been a while since we've recorded anything, and so just wanted to say rest in peace to him. So many great movies, characters that he's been a part of, and he had over 190 credits as an actor.
Jesus.
Which is ridiculous. And then also not counting when he was also in plays as well.
Okay.
Because he did Fences. He was the first iteration, I believe, for Fences.
Okay.
Great film / great play. And so just wanted to say rest in peace to the great. So.
Well,
he was part of my childhood, growing up. It's devastating. Not many celebrity deaths really impact me because like I kind of have that separation of like I don't know these people, but like when they're that integral to your like growing up and childhood and fandom and stuff like that, like there's an impact.
Yeah. That bruh, people started posting that Lion King stuff. And I was like, oh, I couldn't breathe, bruh. When he's talking to Simba and I reposted it on our page, Spence, I was like, damn, why'd y'all have to post this? And then you see how many of the folks from who've passed away from all the Star Wars movies too, and it's just like, man, it's kind of sad. It's extremely sad. I don't know, Spence. I feel like we're doing a lot of these now. These remembrance rest in pieces, but I guess we're getting old. People getting old, but there's been young people that have passed away in the last year too.
Yeah, totally. And it's unfortunate that we have to keep on doing that, but at the same time, circle of life, right? That's just how it goes.
Yep.
That's how it goes.
How it goes.
So
glad we got to experience them.
Yes.
And what they brought to the world, and hopefully everyone gets to go back and watch some of those things, and maybe it'll hit a little bit deeper, maybe some, right? Because I rewatched Lion King and I was like, bruh, some good stuff in here.
I think this is why like art is so important to culture.
Yeah.
Like creativity, art, making stuff, leaving things behind for people to enjoy and help you through whatever you're going through.
Yeah. Yep. Rest in power, King, and Lord Vader.
Lord Vader.
Lord Vader.
King Jaffe coming to America.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
What was his name in the Sandlot? He was that badass baseball player who
Earl Monroe. Nope, that's not it.
Earl Monroe. Big Bob.
Earl the Pearl. His name was Earl the Pearl. All right.
Was it? There you go. Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But I'm actually looking at it right now.
Yeah,
It
ahead.
was Mr. Myrtle.
Mr. Myrtle. Yeah, I wasn't gonna remember that shit.
Did you just watch it?
I did. I was just like, I'm like, what do we call him? The scary guy?
Darth Vader, the blind guy who just steals baseballs for people.
I know. The sweetest guy you ever meet in your entire life. It goes to show you. Don't judge a book by its cover. You bigots.
Or their site.
Oh, God. All right.
Or the dog.
Or the dog. We like to judge big people, big things, right? This is what we do.
I'll be honest, though. I mean, if I saw a dog jump up like a shark coming out of the water, grabbing a baseball, I'd probably be scared too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'll be scared too. I'm gonna say that's a demon.
When he puts his hand on that ball and it's like massive, done.
I was like,
that ball's yours. It's like, it's yours now.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I would have never tried to go back in there. I'm good.
Yeah. Signed by Babe Ruth. Gotta get it back, y'all. Gotta get it back. Anyways.
One Piece.
Rest in peace, James Earl Jones.
Yep.
One of the greats.
Yep.
All right. So now, Michael, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Yes. So can you give us just a little bit of who you are and what do you do?
Oh, that's a very big question.
Very big,
Yes,
very general, you bastard. You could be more specific.
So what? No.
I'm autistic. I need specific things.
Nope. Broad.
Well, there we go. That could be a good start. I'm late diagnosed, ADHD and autistic.
Okay.
And since my diagnosis, I have essentially made it my my career and everyone's problem to educate on ADHD and autism, and to help people that are seeking diagnosis, questioning whether they are ADHD or autistic. They have been diagnosed and they're going through the process of that post-diagnosis experience. And so I started becoming a coach. So I help people one-on-one. Going to be doing group coaching in the near future. started a peer support group. So because I know not everyone can afford coaching, so I was like, hey, I want to provide some accessibility. So I started a peer support group that we've been running for over a year now. It's been quite successful. We have like anywhere between like 30 to 50 people, sometimes upwards to 60 people show up every week. Um, and then from that peer support group, we wanted to do more. So we created a nonprofit organization called Dueling Minds, in which I'm the president of. And where that goal is to help with community. So through peer support, the Discord community, and helping people like connect with other like-minded and like neurodivergent people to help with like accessibility to coaching and one-on-one support. So actually getting some support network, and also finally, like the one thing that I'm really passionate about is helping people become self-sustaining. So we want to help people find the right career path for their brains. So I'm currently working on a few projects with some people to help develop like mentorship programs, to like provide information and to help people like understand like what is the step-by-step process to get into XYZ like career field. Right now we're kind of focusing a bit more on like the gaming industry and like journalism and media and things like that. But I hope to expand that to as much as possible. So, and part of that too would be helping educate the businesses themselves and companies themselves to create better and more friendly like environments for neurodivergent people. So a lot on the plate, but I'm like, this is what my passion is, and I'm excited to do it.
See, knew you could do it.
Yeah, you did
could
it.
do it. And honestly, you're doing a lot of great things.
Yeah.
And that's why I wanted to get a little bit more broad, because you have so many things that you're doing.
Yeah.
And I'd rather you tell us how you're kind of doing that and what you're kind of facing also with that. So thank you for doing that for me. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem.
So I kind of also wanted to ask, how did you come up with the name Dueling Minds, and what does that represent?
So when you are dual diagnosed, it is a unique experience. So there are people that are just ADHD, there are people that are just autistic, and like that, it's like, to me, it's like you're one brain, right? Like you're an ADHD brain, you're an autistic brain. But when you are diagnosed with both, it's like you have two competing brains going at it, trying to figure out like how to manage that. Because with ADHD, you really, thrive on novelty, newness, you want seeking the dopamine. It's very heavily executive function struggles. And like, so like just getting things done, and like which can affect your memory and all these things. And then like on the autistic side, like you kind of thrive better in, routine and, sameness and predictability, and, you script things out, and, you know, have all these different struggles, that are very, very different. And so a lot of times that clashes. And there's a ton of resources out there for just ADHD and for just autism, but there's not a lot for the dual diagnosed, which we call ADHD. And so the name Dueling Minds is quite literally like, it's kind of on the nose, like your minds are dueling each other. They're fighting each other. But it's also like, because we're nerdy, like we're a bunch of nerds doing this. And so, there's, a fantasy theme to it. Like our logo's two dragons
I
with
saw it.
and yeah, and so like it's a multifaceted, name and logo. And it kind of like really represents like who we are, and what we are striving to do.
Yep. I got no questions for him right now because he's answering them so well. I can't even be a jackass and be like, why? Like,
why are you doing that?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, why you like numbers? Like, I don't know what to say. Like, he's just answering things
Great
good.
question.
Yeah.
Well,
All
I only
right.
like prime numbers.
Prime numbers. Yeah.
Prime numbers.
So
The best ones.
since I forget what prime numbers are, sometimes I'm like, state.
You're like, wait a minute.
I'm like,
Those
state.
odds or evens? I don't know.
Prime state. It's not even that. It's like 3, 6, 9, you know, something.
Damn, she fine.
Oh my God. Oh, damn. Okay. Well, you know, he's in our generation. All right. What else you got for us, Pappy? I don't know.
Happy. All right. So, in the last few years, we've really seen, I think, a significant number of people who are self-diagnosed kind of come out as such, like yourself.
Yep.
What are some of the resources or guidance that you wish you had when earlier in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. Honestly, the accessibility to information is a big one. Like, you know, a lot of people will complain like, "Oh, everyone's getting diagnosed these days," and like, it's because there's accessibility to information, right? Like with the rise of social media and TikTok, especially, a lot of people were talking about their experience. A lot of people were, you know, describing things, and and that to me was paramount because like I didn't know much about ADHD or autism
Okay.
growing up. You know, like most of my representation of both were through media, and you know, now that I have the awareness, like those representations were like bad. Like they were just not good representations. They're very stereotypical and incomplete. And so like having that understanding, so I think, you know, if there was better information and better resources when I was younger, it would have helped a lot of those like moments where like, man, like something's wrong. I don't know what's wrong. Like I'm struggling like to make friends, or like I'm being really impulsive, or like I'm struggling financially. I'm, you know, I can't hold down a job. Like I don't know what's going on. I just thought it was a me problem, you know. And come to find out, like, oh no, it's not a me problem. It's like something going on with my brain, and I don't have the right support. So I think that is the biggest thing that I wish I had, was just like that access.
A second ago, you said you used a different voice. And why was it like some old grumpy white man? You selected a
Because
grumpy white man.
because it's usually old grumpy white people, you know, that are at least what I come across. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't have this ADHD back when I was a kid, you know, like, yes, you did, Grandpa. People just got beat for it. Like, you know, like that's the thing is like, you know, especially if you look at like old diagnostic like criteria and like just like history of both ADHD and autism, like there's documentation of both in like the 1700s, the 1600s, like very, very far back. So it's always been around. We just have that awareness now. And the one like analogy that I really like, and I'm sure you probably heard it, is like the back in like what was like the 50s or 60s, like left-handedness was deemed like evil or the devil. Like if you wrote with your left hand, you were, you know, like you were wrong. And so yeah, like the demonization and the suppression of people using their left hand, the percentage of left-handed people was very low. You know, it was like 5% or something like that. And when people started becoming more aware and that suppression started going away and like acceptance started happening and people talking about it and things like that, what happened? Like more people were left-handed, you know, and it rose to like 15%. So it's like that's the era that we are in with ADHD and autism, is like the awareness is out there now. Like people are talking about it. the acceptance is happening. So we are in that uptick, and it will eventually level out. But right now, we're still in that awareness phase. We're still in that learning phase.
Magnificent. Magnificent. I'm going to pivot and be a dumbass now. You see that this the devil. This the devil coming out, because we don't follow the Bible no more. So, all you autistic, you're Satanists.
Autistics.
Your left-handedness, and your pacing and your Legos. Motherfuckers, what you need is fruits and vegetables. What I've been seeing, you can cure autism with your gut health. What you need is some probiotics.
Need some, what was it, Oppie? Or was it called the pop?
You just need to run 5 miles a day. Eat healthy.
Yep.
Get some fruits and vegetables. And
what's it? Magnesium. That's what everyone says. What you need is magnesium.
Magnesium. Cures all. Cures all. Magnesium.
What my dad said, because he was scrolling through our Instagram and liking some stuff, and then it led him to Kennedy Jr. talking about the increase of all these different things, and he's like, autism's increased, astronomically, and it's the fruit, it's the food, it's the vaccines. And I'm like, here we go. I got my dad the RSV shot the other day, and he straight up curmudgeon, just, I'm not getting it, and then throws kind of a tantrum in there because he's he didn't want to get. I'm like, Dad, you fucking need it. If you get sick again from RSV like you just had, you were literally sick to death for a month.
It's I got the COVID vaccine, and now I'm autistic.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was like, now that we all got our shots again, I'm like, I can feel the autism is strong in me.
Now I can do math.
I have a superpower. It's called autism. I'm socially awkward. Can't make eye contact.
I love chicken nuggets.
I really love chicken nuggets.
I like his voiceover voice. His voiceover voice is really good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah. My mom was left-handed. And I say was because she went to Catholic school.
Oh.
And if they caught you writing with your left hand, get that ruler real quick. So she's ambidextrous, but at the same time, she's mainly right-handed now. And so we don't live in those. Thank God we don't live in those fucking times anymore. They're trying to bring them back, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, just living in those times, if you were even trying to be so-called different, you would immediately just be tossed to the side.
Expunged.
So
beaten.
Yeah.
That kid's weird.
What you need to do is pray, honey.
I'm black. I can't. What was that going to do? What the fuck? I'm sorry. I can't change this. Help me.
Something ain't right with that boy.
Something ain't right.
I don't know what it is. Can't put my finger on it.
That one's disabled. I'm not gonna say that word. No, but for real, bro. Really good topics that you bring up. So we're in this heightened place now of we're starting to get to this awareness. And we're doing this pod and we're starting to help some folks out with awareness, right? We're doing these talks at my work now. They're finally like, hey, maybe Nas knows what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, you think maybe after all the followers and events and podcasts, all these major things and sponsorships, maybe I know what the fuck I'm talking about. A doctorate, a dissertation in autism, specifically among women. Maybe I know. But everyone's like, oh no, it's because you're brown, you don't know. And because you're ADHD and you talk shit and you sound like a dumbass half the time, you're probably stupid. Racism.
Yep.
But besides the point. So I think you're right. Eventually we'll plateau. I do not think we're anywhere near that. I think the numbers are still going to go up and up and up and up. Instead of 1 in 34, I'm not the best at math. I feel like it's more like 120, 1 in 15. But we'll see what comes up in the future. I'm glad our folks aren't being shamed into the corners. I'm glad that we're starting to seek help and services. I'm glad that the children are getting diagnosed now, which is leading a lot of parents to get diagnosed now. I got family members reaching out to me to work with me as a therapist because their kid's autistic. And I can't wait to work with them because I'm going to be like, it's one of you.
You're the problem.
One of you autistic. You just shout to Taylor Swift. It's me. I'm the problem.
Yep.
Oh my god.
And so it's just fun to be in this space, but also I know it's really hard for a lot of us, Michael, because there's a lot of pushback. You know, people are saying a lot of nasty shit in the comments. People question your intelligence, your credentials, your lived experience. I fucking question my lived experience.
Yeah.
But interesting. So I'm gonna pivot real quick to you because we were talking about, you know, this uber white man or just whatever, just people just being assholes. Not you being uber white man, the voice you were doing, people being assholes. And how do you deal with that when people come at you hot and heavy with, you know what you're talking about, or they try to say this isn't autism, this isn't ADHD, this is everyone's like this, everyone's autistic. You think this is autism? Does that? I'm not saying what do you say to them. I'm saying how do you handle that like mentally? Because for me, I'm getting better at it now. Because Spencer's been like, who gives a fuck now? Because before I'd get like angry and I'd like get the zoomies and I'd be hyper focused and couldn't fucking sleep or think. Now I'm just like, oh well. How's it affect you?
So my life has taught me the art of not giving a fuck. Like, and there's not to say that there haven't been moments where I'm like really heated because of the stupidity that people exhibit when trying to challenge something that is factual. But at the end of the day, it really is like I'm not gonna care about what people have to say and or their challenges or they, like if they're not willing to learn, right? Like if you have a criticism of me and it is not specific, measurable, and actionable, I'm not going to listen to you. If like if you just come at me like you're wrong, okay, tell me why I'm wrong.
Please.
I genuinely do want to know if I'm wrong. I genuinely like if I say something that is incorrect, I want to correct myself. You know, and if you provide me with valid evidence and like criticism, I will have a conversation with you. But if you come at me like a dumbass, I'm gonna match your energy. And like I've been a content creator for a long time.
Okay.
I grew up in a military household. I have an older brother. Like the art of not giving a fuck and trolling just kind of was like developed in me. So like anytime I get a troll or someone trying to come at me and like I'm able to match their energy or I just make fun of them or in rare cases I've even turned people from a troll into a follower and fan.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, especially like doing live streams and stuff like on Twitch. Like, I've had people come in and try to insult me, and I'm like, come on, man. Like, you're to come in here, waste your time with that weak of an insult. Like, if you're gonna insult me, like make it personal. Like, try to actually hurt me, like don't waste your time and my time doing this. And I just try to make it fun and like light in those situations. And sometimes they're like, "Hey, man, I'm sorry. Like, I was being an asshole." I'm like, "Yeah, you were. Like, maybe you should probably rethink your life." And like, like, and why are you doing this stuff? Like,
damn, you put it on him, boy.
Like, it's like, I'm sorry, you're probably hurting so much right now that you have to go after other people to make yourself feel better. But like, fuck, like. Try to be a better person going forward. Like and sometimes they stay, sometimes they, probably go write in their journal crying. I don't know.
Oh my God. No, they probably just, I'm not going to go where I was going to go with that. So real quick, a pivot, and then I'm going to kick it back to Spence. I saw something you posted the other day on Threads, and you said someone came into your support group talking shit. That had to have been traumatic because, not because of you, but because I know you're probably protective of your humans.
Yes. Like that, I think is a case that did affect me more because it wasn't me, right? Like if you come at me, I can handle it. But they came into the space that I created and it's supposed to be safe for other people, for a lot of other people. And while those people were like, those are the type of people I'm like, I like want to find out your information and call your mom and tell you tell them what you're doing on the internet type thing. Like, I don't have those skills, but I know people that have those skills, and I was very tempted to reach out to them, but I didn't because I just, decided to let it go.
Yep.
But yeah, like those situations are, you know, a lot more impactful because it's like I'm creating this safe space for people. It's a very vulnerable space, and like, yeah, I'm very protective of that and the people that like decide to join.
Rightfully
So
so.
like,
Yeah.
if that was a like, should I find out where they live and contact their work and family and tell them exactly what they're doing, or should I just let it go? And this time I let it go.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad you were
Don't
there.
fuck with Michael.
Yeah. Don't fuck with Michael. You know,
No, he'll find it.
Michael gonna use
I
his taking skills.
I have a certain set of skills. You're like, okay.
The funny thing is, like, it's like I have one of my good friends is in cybersecurity, and I've talked to him about this before, and he's like most of the time he does like he works for the government, and like he's like it's not that hard to find people, like. And honestly, I agree because I've known white girls with detective skills better than the police force. Like like one of my friends like would find all kinds of information on men and stuff. I'm like, how are you? This is all right. This is kind of terrifying. So really, it's not that difficult
No.
to find people. It actually doesn't take a lot of skill. It's honestly Google.
A lot of deep
So,
diving. Yeah, but your friend also
Yeah.
got some tech savviness, so you know.
yeah, like he can help me point me in the right direction.
Yeah.
So,
His tism.
yeah.
He got the tism, don't he?
Surprisingly, he doesn't.
Oh.
Actually, he's one of my few neurotypical friends. So,
Oh,
Shout out.
okay.
This is that moment where I go Schmidt from the last season. A white man.
a white man. Yes.
Are you from the statistic?
Are you from the statistics? Okay. Thank you for that. I just want to talk about protectiveness because we're going to pivot into that to some clips later. Spence, I'm going to kick it back to you for any questions.
Yeah. So this is a question that we've been asking most of our guests recently. Do you have any films or TV shows that you use to help regulate certain emotions that you're kind of going through?
So, I'm probably one of those rare people that very rarely rewatches shows.
Oh.
I like if I rewatch something, it's because it's that good.
Okay.
Right? Like something that is very, I might, wait like a couple years for some shows and like rewatch it because like I don't remember it. Or like I forgot a lot about this show. I
Yep.
want to rewatch it and like but yeah, like I don't use TV or like movies or anything for like regulatory purposes. I mostly actually listen to music. Like music is my go-to for
Okay.
that kind of thing.
All right. What's
and,
something
like,
you listen to?
What's your music, Pappy?
So it cycles. So one of those things like where I said I listen to everything, like that's true. Like I have
That's what white people say
like,
when they try to act cool. Like, I like the black people music too. Shut up.
I love the hip hops.
I'm joking. I'm joking, Michael.
I mean, like I've listened to things like Hell Young, which is really difficult to describe because it's like very like spiritual,
Okay.
like like I forget the language that they speak. But like it's in the like Wardruna is more like Scandinavian music, but
Okay.
then like I also listen to like dark country, like gothic country music. I listen to metal. I listen to like ska, punk, rap. Like I literally like if you give me a piece of music, I will listen to it, and it's very rare that I don't like something. The main thing I don't like is like your stadium country, like your pop country, like that's kind of gross.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so yeah, I listen to just a lot of variety, and this is something I've thought about too, like because I'm autistic. One of my big struggles is alexithymia. So like expressing and understanding emotions and feeling and things like that, like music to me is like one of the best ways to help me process emotions. Um, and so like TV shows just don't do that as well
Yeah.
for me.
There you go. Spence, we was in group therapy yesterday. Yesterday, one of my boys, if you're listening, because I know you're probably listening, you stalker, you perv. Magnificent human. Love this human. This human knows us. He said he loves metal, and I've been on this, right? And he's had me listen to some of stuff, but he said there's this new music to listen to is metal and like jazz. I forgot what the band was, but I feel like you might have heard of it. This genre, it's like a mixture of this metal and jazz.
Yes, I have heard it. I don't remember the name of the band though, but yes, I have heard that. Like I like some of the like that obscure metal.
Yeah.
Like there's like pirate metal, dwarf metal. There's
Are they doors doing the metal or no? It's just
is it quieter than normal music?
Is it the Lollipop Guild?
It's like when I say dwarf, like fantasy. Dwarf.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
We about to get canceled, man.
Turn it up all the way just to hear them. Like, wait.
But yeah, like so there's a lot of different like obscure metals, like genres out there. Like but I listen to like Sleep Token is like called prog metal, like progressive metal. Like Sleep Token is really good. Like,
okay.
But then there's like I went to a concert. One of the last concerts I went to was New Year's Day, Avatar, In This Moment, and Ice Nine Kills. And like Ice Nine Kills is really cool because like they do songs based off of horror movies, and it's like really fucking cool.
There you go. Real quick, do you put any of these songs on repeat and you repeat the songs and albums, or no? You one hit, you're done. One pump, you're done.
Yeah, like there's a lot of things that will latch onto. Like I'm also big into musicals.
Okay.
There's actually a musical. It's a concept album called Epic the Musical, and it is a concept musical album based off of the Odyssey, and it is like has a chokehold on me. It's fantastic. Like the music, just like the storytelling in it, everything is phenomenal. And like honestly, like the like they release in sagas. And the last saga that they released was like there is one particular song that was honestly like incredibly emotional, and like when I first heard it and like listened to it myself, like I started crying. I'm like, why am I crying? Like because that was like the alexithymia stuff. I'm like, oh okay, like I'm feeling things. So like it was very cathartic and like and healing, and I was like, all right, like this is why I love music.
In there, man. Yeah.
Like I'm leaking.
Yeah. What is going on?
Rah!
My
Max.
fluids.
Max.
I'm feeling.
Oh, the Grinch. What a classic. What a classic.
Oh, I love how autistic you two are. Awesome, man. Awesome. Thank you for that. Thank you for sharing that.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I think with that we can get into the show. So, One Piece.
Yes.
Before we kind of get into like the scenes themselves, what made you, out of all the animes, out of everything that you could do, why'd you pick One Piece?
I think One Piece has one of the like best representations of autism in like anime, and honestly, like it is one of the longest running shows, animes. It's incredibly popular. Like there's a huge variety of demographic of people that watch One Piece. I think it has a really good like connection to people. And like I it's probably like the easiest anime to really like dissect and decipher like the characters and things like that. I mean, it's honestly just a great show too, like in general. So like if you haven't watched it, like it's worth watching.
There you go.
And I think also like it has to be like one of the most long running animes out there, I would think. I mean, it's been on a while and 1,300 episodes, like you were saying, that's a lot. So,
There are some anime series that are longer.
oh
Um,
shit.
yeah.
He Googling. He Googling.
Yeah, like
where you find?
there's what is it? I'm spacing on the names.
Well, you got to clear your websites because you were looking up that other asshole. I know you found his address. He's watching him on his Google camera.
Let me exit out of this. I'll save that for later.
So Case Closed has been airing for 28 years.
Yeah, damn. I didn't even know that one.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some like Chibi Maruko-chan has been airing for 29 years. There's another like children's one that's 30 years.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Like there's some that are
way out there, but it's pretty up there though. How many years it's been running? 20 some years?
Yeah, it's like 25 years.
That's nuts.
I think the longest running anime is 53 years. So
wow. Holy shit.
Yeah.
They were just drawing.
The first thing I thought was everyone who started that show is dead. That's the most morbid fucking thing I thought about. Like they're all dead.
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah.
Even the voice actors are like, it's over. It's over. I can't do it.
Started in 1969 and has over 2,640 episodes.
Oh wow. God bless those.
But let's be
autistic
honest
bastards.
though. Let's be honest though. Like One Piece though, even though those other shows have probably been lasting longer, I feel like this one, especially with One Piece, it's in the culture a lot more than say those other ones, right? They're running, but they don't have the cultural impact that One Piece had.
The cultural impact in the West and like Europe, like I think that's the big thing is like One Piece has expanded past like the Japanese culture.
Okay.
Yeah.
And has actually breached into Western culture and and it has become culturally significant to the West as well as Japanese culture. So like I think that
good clarification.
And like yeah.
Yep.
All right.
But when you can do that jump, that shows something there though. If you can do that jump.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Z.
All households.
Naruto, Bleach.
Naruto. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's
a few in there.
So
there's a few culturally significant animes. Yeah.
Real quick, so that's why you picked it. What made you finally watch this? One of your friends recommended it, or you got an ad for it, or what happened?
So I've been watching anime ever since I was like,
nerd.
Yeah. I would say I've been watching anime 25, probably about as long as like One Piece has been going on.
Okay.
An original OG like Western anime watcher.
Okay.
And so many people told me like throughout those years, like, gotta watch One Piece. And like my brain was like, no, that's too long. It's too much of a commitment. And it just kept going and going and going. I'm like, fine, I'll sit down and watch it. But the caveat, what really got me to finally sit down was I found a website. It's a fan-made website. It's not official. It's called One Pace, and it cuts out a lot of the filler. It's open edited, and like I don't know the legal part of it, but it's there. It exists. And some people may hate me for watching One Piece instead of One Piece, because they like you got to watch the pure anime. But I am very ADHD, and I just couldn't handle it, so I had to go with the route that cut out a lot of the very understimulating parts.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to handle the long piece. When sometimes it'll break it down. Sometimes you begin to like the long piece.
Oh my god!
It's all a New Girl reference. I'm sorry.
Sure it is, buddy. Sure.
I swear to God,
That's what
it
you
is.
always say. You're like, it's a new girl.
I swear to God, it was a tism. That's awesome though. I guarantee you, people are like, you're not a purist and this and that. I'm like, whatever. I mean, I watched the shit. So
people are happy that I watch it and we're talking about it, but now that they know I watch One Piece, they're like, I don't like this person. I'm like, it's okay.
It's fine.
Again, I practice the art of not giving a fuck. So like, you can hate me.
Yeah.
Do you watch it dubbed? I'm like, yes, I do. Thank you. I do.
I know when people make fun of me for watching dubbed, I'm like, I'm dyslexic and disabled, man. Just give me a break.
I don't want to read words, bro. I just want to listen.
Yes.
So as a person that watches sub a lot, there is a very good argument to watch dub, and it's because like if you are not familiar with Japanese culture, if you're not familiar with Japanese like jokes and the innuendos and things like that, you're not going to enjoy sub because there's a lot of things in sub that you're just not going to get.
There you go.
Dub does westernize it a bit to make it like you can connect to the characters and you can get the jokes and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very logical and valid reason to watch dub over sub. But I'm one of those autistics that likes like history and studying different cultures. So I know a lot about the Japanese culture. So I can appreciate those things.
There you go.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with anybody who just watches subs too. It's, you know, but there are people out there, like, let's not judge people because they want to hear it in their own language. Let's not be angry at people like that, you know?
I mean, there's some really good dubs out there too that I go back and rewatch an anime in the dub. You know, like the recent one, Solo Leveling. I would say watch the dub over the sub if you're a Western, like American. Like the Solo Leveling voice actor for dub, just like he put his full voice Ussie in that. Like just he went hard, and it's amazing.
Can you do I feel like you're good in impressions. You got an impression?
Oh gosh,
I'm sorry.
You're putting me on the spot. No, not really, because like there's a lot of like yelling and like screaming and just like a lot of action in that. And like the voice actors on TikTok, I don't know names. I'm sorry, but he's talking about like how he actually like was bleeding from his like throat for how like hard he was going and like how much effort he put into it. And so like, no, I don't want.
No, we're not doing that.
Like,
no, I don't like yelling.
Scream. No.
But yeah, he went incredibly hard, and like it was like it's such a good like listen to just how well he does the character.
There you go. All right. Let's get back on to the scene, the track side. That's a good little side. It will cause a side quest. Well, I like to call it
we went on side quest.
A side piece. That's my side piece.
You just on a whole other thing, Shannon Sharp, today, aren't you?
You know how hard it was for me when he kept saying he goes hard. I'm like, you know,
he goes hard.
No, we mean hard.
He goes real hard.
It's it's
all the biscuits and gravy.
What's turning them biscuits and gravy?
You fucking
I fucking love Michael, bro. Let's get out of here before everyone cancels me.
All right. First scene.
Before it gets too hard.
First scene. First scene. No biscuits and gravy, just the first scene. All right. So, can you give us a little context to what's going on in this scene? What's happening? And what made you want to choose this scene?
So, and the first thing I chose, it's probably one that doesn't like outright show autism unless you kind of have that awareness, and like once you understand more about autism, like it probably like you're like, oh yeah, that makes sense. So the scene is like Luffy is in a bar and he's getting made fun of, like he's getting told that he's like some low life pirate that's no name pirate, like he's not all that, and like this other pirate's like, I'm better than you, very posturing and just like absolutely like beating the shit out of Luffy, and Luffy's not fighting back and told Zoro not to fight back. And like the reason why I picked it, because like that kind of goes back to where like if you make fun of me, like I'm not gonna, like I don't care, like I'm just gonna be able to shrug it off, because like that's kind of like my rules that I live by, right? Like in autistic people, we really like our rules. We like our, you know, sense of justice, like a personal sense of justice, where, you know, what I find to be justified, I'm going to follow that. And I'm going to follow that to probably extreme, you know, ways, and sometimes to the detriment of myself. And so like that kind of like really showcases that in the scene. And you know, we were also talking about earlier, like the pain tolerance too. Like autistic people have high pain tolerances, and like, and Luffy definitely displays that.
Yeah. When you talk about these rules, what are these rules? What are they connected to? Is it morals? Is it values? Is it ethics? Is it you know, I just like all the yellow M&Ms? Like, what are you talking about?
So
I get what you're talking about. You know, I'm just trying to lead you
yeah.
into a good conversation.
No. Like, yeah, I get it. And like when it comes to rules, yeah, it's kind of the things that help our brains stay regulated, right? Like the things that we have to follow to make sure that we feel comfortable, that we're not too anxious. So yeah, it could be like I only yellow M&Ms. Like that could be one of those things. You know, it could be like if I, you know, take a shower, I have to listen to music, you know, because that helps with the regulation process of like the overstimulation. You know, it could be like the just the way we do things, you know, like when we approach a task, like we plan out that task and like we have to follow that. And like we set routines to our days and like how we do things. And if there's disruptions to those, like it can be very dysregulating, it can be very overwhelming, and you know, we we just kind of stick to them. And it takes a lot for us to make those adjustments too.
Yeah. Uh, so as everyone knows, right, I work in higher education, and that routine and rules is completely thrown off when you're freshman year. It gets thrown off when students go back home or go on vacation, then they come back. Again, it throws everything off. What are the rules? How am I supposed to act? Now I'm this college individual. When you get into your sophomore, junior year, again, it changes. When you go back into the real world, again, it changes. And so my students will come to me completely deregulated, and they're like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm having panic attacks. Well, we know what's going on. You just went through another change. It's not difficult, but everyone seems to think that it's not that big of a deal, or it shouldn't be that big of a deal, or like, why is this, you know, messing me up? And it just does, because you have to refocus and realign back what you need to do and why you need to do it, and get more it's about getting comfortable too with it, right? In that new routine, that new rule, that new mindset. When should you get up for your classes? When should you get up for work? When do you need to take a shower by? What do you need to eat during the day? You have to think about everything. And all these things are somewhat black and white. And if it gets thrown off a little bit, it fucks some things up. You miss the bus, flat tire, fucks things up. We all have rules.
Plan changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we all have rules. I like to say that. It's just some of us that are autistic, right? This neurodivergent mind, more important. The more important. And then people were like, well, it's fine. Don't worry about it. You know, me, you, and Spencer would be like, I'm not fine. I'm not fine. Don't tell me it's fine, asshole. I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah. It's like you told me that we were having dinner at 6:00. It's 6:15. Like, why aren't we having dinner right now? Yeah, like, oh, it's fine. I'm just getting ready. Like, but you said we were having dinner at 6:00. Why aren't you ready already? Like, what? Like, why does it take? Like, there was no preparation. Like, you didn't tell me like, oh, hey, I'm running behind. Like, usually that's enough, right? But like, if you just tell me like 6:00 and then all of a sudden 6:15, 6:30 rolls around, you're like, I have no new information. I'm starting to get stressed out and dysregulated because I planned for 6:00. Yeah, and then but there's no communication.
There's no
And
communication.
yeah, like lack of communication can frustrate anyone, but for us, it can be dysregulating.
Yep.
Like that can lead to a meltdown or a shutdown. So yeah.
Spence, you have any questions that you specifically for him about that scene? Because we talked about a few other things that he touched on lately.
No, I mean, like, I don't have a question. I just kind of want to say that I think it's also frustrating in that scenario too, is just the fact that they don't care, or they seem like they don't care about the fact that your time is precious, right? And so that can also be very frustrating because it doesn't seem like they're taking you seriously or your time seriously. And to be honest, for me especially, I think that's been one of the things that always frustrates me when like when they're running late. I'm just like, whoa, what's happening? Da da da, and they're just like, chill. I'm like, oh, okay, all right, oh, okay. Oh yeah, that'll settle me down. That'll settle me down.
Let me
Thank
just
you.
stop being autistic.
Let me just stop here.
Yeah.
I'll put my Legos down, all right, and then we'll.
Let me release the demons.
What the
I need an old priest and a young priest.
I need a young. I need an Irish one. That's what I need. I need a good
old
one.
priest and a young priest.
There you go. You got it. It was I'm forgetting the movie that we just referenced. The, Austin Powers.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yep.
there you
Yeah.
go.
He was there.
I was thinking. So with me, my students know, love them to death. They know I usually running. I'm running late, and so they planned it in their mind. Nas is running 7-10 minutes late, no matter what. The meeting's at 3. You know he probably ain't gonna come get me until 3:07. So they're pre-programmed already. Some of my clients, I know I need to get there at 3 because like they will legit be freaking out and like running to the front desk. Where the fuck is he? Where the fuck is he? So I try to be more, but I lose. I got that time blindness. I'm having a conversation. I ain't fucking paying attention to the clock. I'm sitting with you as a human. We're gonna rock out as humans and just talk. So today I went and got one of my humans, and she was like, "Why are you 3 minutes early?" She was fucked up. It was fucking hilarious.
So the reverse happened. Like they were used to the routine of you being late, and then you fucked them up when you were early.
What are you doing here?
What are you doing here? Why's your big lumpy ass walking down the hallway now? I'm like, I got a doctor's appointment I got to go to, and I still got out late for the damn thing. I got him in early, and I still left late. I'm like, God damn it. I got tricked. That was just funny. Rules. So good point, Spence. Good point, Michael. When you talked about this passivity, do you think a lot of autistic folks are passive, or do you think it's obviously a diaspora or a spectrum? Do you think a lot of folks are like aggressive, more blunt? I guess bluntness doesn't mean aggressive, but like, I feel like it's a mixture of what I've seen. A lot of passive folks, a lot of very loving, empathetic folks. Never really get any very violent individuals. Maybe if you mix in a little bipolar disorder, but they're never like violent. But it depends. I wonder what was your opinion on that? Like this passivity, just letting shit happen.
I think, a lot of our experiences can be very traumatic, and that can ingrain some passivity to it. But I think also our just normal state, like I don't want to speak for everyone, but
I
like
know.
a lot of the people that I've run into, my own experience, I've like personally too, I've always been much more of a passive person. Like it's not that I don't confrontation is always uncomfortable,
For
but like
everyone.
I don't necessarily like violence. I don't want to be violent. I don't necessarily like being angry. I don't like, that anger was, trauma reasons was an issue for
Yeah.
me. But like, from what I experienced, yeah, I think a lot of autistic people tend to be a lot more on the being a pacifist, like
Yep.
not wanting to be violent, not wanting to resort to violence.
Let me clarify
I
real
do-
quick. Let me clarify. So passive and also and having their boundaries pushed by people. So now let's get away from the violence. I feel like a lot of folks that are autistic allow their boundaries to be pushed more and more and more, maybe than neurotypicals.
I think that's true. And there's probably like there's two sides of the coin too. Like on like with our boundaries being pushed, I think a lot of it is we're very trusting typically.
Good point.
So there are ways that we want to be people pleasing, right? Like a lot of us struggle with people pleasing. A lot of us struggle to make friends. So typically we might be more willing to allow boundaries to be pushed. typically might be do more things that are passive to get people to like us, because if we're passive, then they're going to like us. Like if you know so that can lead into very harmful relationships and dynamics. And that's why, like, learning boundaries and learning how to set them and learning how to uphold them, and like learning that you're not being mean when you're holding a boundary, and learning how, like, what manipulation tactics are, so
Yeah.
you don't become emotionally reactive to those things too. Um, so I think that's another thing, is like, we might be sometimes more susceptible to like reactive abuse, like people pushing our buttons more and more and more, because we tend to be passive and passive and passive, and then they poke, and then we finally do react. And when we react, because we struggle with emotional regulation, those emotions are really large and they can become very explosive, right? Like, and we're feeling everything all at once, and so that reaction looks way worse than probably what it is, and like that leads to meltdowns and shutdowns, and that's where shame is, and like people can use that against us, and like there's so many different
You're right.
ways that this can go. And one thing I do want to talk, I was thinking about with like the passivity and like more pacifist, like one of the intersectional side of things is with like black men and brown men, like being more perceived as violent or aggressive because of autism.
Yep.
And so that's another side of the coin too, like on the intersectional side of things, where like me, like I'm white, so I'm still a big guy, like I'm 6'2", but like I have that intimidating size, but like it's not as near as what other people experience
Mm-mm.
in other places. So
Yep. Good point. Yeah, good point. Yeah, I just wanted to, since he's just getting his ass kicked in that scene, I figured it was good to talk about the passivity, the word that you brought up in the pre-production.
Yeah.
Spencer, I talked about, earlier, of like this like us taking a good beating. And I've, me and you have been doing this for a while, and I tell you, a lot of my clients can take a lot of abuse, and it's fucked up. It's not a good thing, but I mean, it's kind of interesting that, we take it, and then we blow up. And I guess I work a lot with clients, and Spence knows this too, and with ourselves, is on this podcast, what's leading up to this blow up, this meltdown, this deregulation. Can you point it out? Can you see it going from a 5 to a 7 to a 9 to a 9.5 to a 10? Can you see it when you're like, I'm getting frustrated, I need to back away from this? I need to remove myself or tell them to go away. I need to go to the bathroom and just chill for a minute. I need to go for a walk. Do you know where you're at that place before you get to like, I'm going to burn this motherfucker down. I hate you. Murder was the game. Before you get your Tupac songs on, Machiavelli songs, and you're like, okay. Bang, bang, motherfucker, bang, bang.
Bang, bang.
And I think I struggled with that for an extremely long time. So my clients, even in group yesterday, were like, broke down, and they said it's hard for them to deregulate, or it's easy to deregulate, hard to regulate. And then they looked at me like, shit, I can cry and stop crying within seconds. And some of my clients are like, how? I've been practicing this shit for a long time, and I know what my trigger points are, unless I know how to put in little speed bumps, right? If you're driving on the road, stop you from going fucking 70 where children are playing, the speed bump. Now you gotta go back down to 20. So with folks with alexithymia, it's tough to sometimes point those out, but sometimes we can do somatic stuff, figure out how the body's feeling. We can figure out who our triggers are by doing some visualization to see how our body, our heart rate responds. If there's even any flinches in there, what brings us calmness. So there's ways to do this. And this is what I kind of advise for folks that are constantly taking a beating is, how can we set better boundaries and know when we're getting abused? How do we know when we're getting like manipulated? And so working with a therapist, verbal processing out with other autistic folks, also with other neurotypical folks, because they can maybe point it out better than some of us. Like, hey man, this ain't normal. It's like when you go to college and like, I thought I was normal, my family was normal. And like, Now you was getting beaten. Huh? Sorry to be funny about that, but like when I got around college, they were like, this isn't normal. I'm like, but everyone at my school gets a good beating. This is just a brown experience. And then you get around all these white kids who are like, I've never been touched in my life. And I was like, this is a thing? What did your parents do? They put me in timeout. Timeout? Is that where they beat you? No. Sorry to make light of it.
Wait,
Go
when you
ahead.
said timeout, they just knocked you out?
When
I
does
can't remember
the
30
pain,
minutes of my life. Where'd
Yeah.
it go? Where'd it go?
like as soon as I heard timeout, I was like instantly, I'm like, why does my body hurt from lashes? It's a normal experience for a lot of us of color, and that's a whole racial thing and protection thing. That's a different day. Michael, you getting ready to talk about something when I was talking about this?
I was. I
You
lost my
lost
train
it.
of thought, and the train derailed. There were no survivors.
The Jesus Christ. Spencer's
They did.
face.
They all did.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace.
You were saying something and it triggered the thought, and I was like, that's a really good topic. And then it just
Okay, so we were talking about trying to figure out the abuse and manipulation. It's really good to consult neurodivergent folks, but also neurotypicals.
yes. Knowing what a boundary is also important, because a lot of people that I talk to, when I talk to them, like, hey, do you know what a boundary is? And it's like, well, it's telling someone like not to do something. Like, no. It's like a boundary is never telling other people what to do. It is what you are going to do in response, right? Like, oh, hey, you continue to talk to me like this, so I'm going to leave. You know, and it's not saying like you have to stop talking to me like this. It's just as you continue, I'm going to disengage. I'm going to leave.
What are your
As
limits?
this thing continues. Yeah. So like that's a great thing to learn as well, because I think a lot of I've come across like autistic people that they think boundaries are like you can't talk to me that way, or you got to stop talking to
That's
me.
not all
Like,
it.
it's like it's like, yeah, you can disengage from people. You can you don't have to talk to everyone, but it's hey, because you're in this space and you're talking, I'm not going to be in this space. It's you're removing yourself from a situation, and that's the best way to really set boundaries. And like I use them as like you know testing kind of to see how people are going to react, right? Like if you say like, hey, I don't like I don't like you saying these things, so I'm going to leave, or I'm going to walk away. Like if they react in a negative way, if they're defensive, if they're you know attacking me for a boundary, then I know that this is a person that's not going to respect my boundary. Yeah. Ever, right? Like, but if they respond with like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know," and like they make an effort to change, then like that gives me information on like, okay, like maybe this person didn't understand or whatever, and like I can have interactions with them. So like that's a great way for autistic people is like use data, right? Like you know use logic, use understanding, like use what you can when like learning how to interact with people.
Yep.
Like you don't have to be a perfect communicator, because we communicate differently than non-autistic people, so there's always going to be that struggle, but you can learn different things to implement in communication to like mitigate and prevent as much like abuse and manipulation as possible.
Yep. Find your limits. Find your thresholds, figure out what freaks you out, what doesn't, and then you just alter. You alter things and you refine things, right? I'm thinking of a little sander. You sand it down, make it nice and smooth, but it changes. Right? I like all the shapes. There's an autistic moment right now. I like all the shapes. All right.
Goes in the square hole.
Spence,
TikTok scene.
let's move it down to the second scene.
Yeah. So we see that Luffy has his friend and he's down. He's down for the count, right?
From the long D.
Pretty sure he got shot. 90% sure he got shot.
Got shot.
Another black man dead.
Another black man.
I'm sorry. Don't say
That's
that.
so bad.
I
That's so
know.
bad.
Jesus.
I had to catch myself. I was about to go into it. And then we see that Luffy Even though everybody's warning him, like, hey, if you do anything to this celestial dragon, that's it. That means it's death. That's it. You're done. But even though that he knows that Luffy is defending his friend, and then he goes up to the celestial being, punches the shit out of him. All right, just gave him one of those punches where he rolls up his sleeve and then pop, you know. So, um, we wanted to talk about just the other side of kind of Luffy's thinking, right? For himself, he's more passive, but when it comes to others, he's going to be defending them no matter what, and he's going to use violence in this case to defend them. Um, what really, so I kind of explained a little bit about the scene, but is there anything else that you kind of want to talk about, Michael, about that scene, and or any other context, I should say, maybe for it?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of, the other side of the coin of like justice sensitivity, like what we perceive as just, right? Like, and we tend to be more defensive of the people that we care about than we defend ourselves. And like that's a consistent trait with Luffy throughout all of One Piece.
Okay.
Like, if he considers you a friend, he's gonna go above and beyond for you. Like that's his rule, right? Like you're a friend, I'm gonna protect you, I'm gonna take care of you. I'm not gonna let you do stupid things, right? Like I'm not gonna let you get hurt. Um, and in addition to this situation, like a lot of autistic people don't care about hierarchy, and that's kind of that situation. Like leading up to this scene, like Luffy never understood also like why the celestial dragons were such a big threat. Like everyone would have this big scared reaction and he would always be like, what's going on? Like it's just a person, right? Like, and that is an experience that a lot of us face is like it doesn't matter what your rank is, it doesn't matter who you think you are, we're gonna treat you like any other person, right? Like everyone is equal. And that can definitely be a difficult experience, especially in the workplace. I know I've had experiences of managers like thinking I was being defiant or, getting mad at me or pissed off because I would talk to them like a person and not like my boss, you know? And people trying to like throw their authority around on me, and I'm like, who the fuck do you think you are? And they're like, well, I'm this person. Like, again, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, you're a person to me. Like, I don't care about your title, right? Like, if you want me to respect me, then you're gonna have to earn that respect. You're gonna have to show me why you are a person in this position, you know? Otherwise, I'm going to treat you like another coworker. And this is like a perfect, example of that. Like, he doesn't care that it's a celestial dragon, that it's gonna, you know, have consequences. Like he hurt his friend, and he's gonna do something about it.
I got something for you. Not a
Punch.
What is it?
a punch.
It's a gun.
Here's a gun. But a January 6th, your ass.
Oh my.
Well, I mean, he was
Lord.
walking up the stairs. That's what I envisioned, right? Them going up the. I'm just saying.
So Luffy, wait a minute. Luffy's
Luffy's a magma.
mega people?
Yeah. He's the horn guy. He was autistic. The horn guy from January 6th.
Oh my.
Yeah.
God.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
You're
perverted
like,
this.
that's my white man right there.
That's the white man that I needed.
A white man.
A white man.
Oh, white man.
Real quick, what the hell is Luffy's ethnicity in this show, anyways? Because do we even know?
So in the live action,
Yeah.
he's Brazilian.
He's Brazilian.
I should know this.
I mean, you don't have to know everyone's ethnicity. That's not you.
What race are they? Tell me.
I think yes.
He's just-
Oda, the writer, has said Brazilian.
Okay.
I think in the show is he Brazilian in the show? In the
I
live
have no
action?
idea. He's definitely.
Oh, the live
I
action.
feel
Yeah.
bad for not knowing this.
You're good.
But yeah, So like that's one thing about One Piece too, that it actually is pretty diverse. Like
It is.
Luffy's Brazilian, Zoro's Japanese, Nami's Swedish, Usopp is African, Sanji's French, Chopper's Canadian,
Love it.
Robin's Russian, Frankie's American, Brooke is Austrian, and Jinbei is Indian.
Wow.
Look at them.
So
They're just checking all the boxes, bastards.
It kind of also explains why people love it, because you have a character for at least everybody.
Yep.
Right. I mean, not just personality wise, but then you also have ethnicity wise too.
Yep. Representation, boy.
Yeah.
Where was I going with this? Before I went on this stupid side quest. Jesus.
What race are they? I want to know.
What wasn't that? I started off with the January 6th thing. Jesus Christ.
You sure did.
I know. I lost the train of fucking thought.
there were no survivors.
I know. So I'm looking at this scene, right? And there's one thing I want to get to in a second is with the actual character that's hurt and shot, what he's saying, because there's some really good like mental health stuff in there. But you look at this protective factor and you look how like big it gets when it's like our loved ones, siblings, our best friends, like here, me and Spence, get very protective. I thought I was a protective individual. And then I remember walking with my niece through like this little forest thing out in San Antonio, just me and Salim. And then someone was walking up on us and I was like, oh my God, why am I like visualizing as this autistic, hyperphantasic individual, like violence right now? And like, I'm like figuring out how am I going to protect this? And we're just walking in the forest, but it was scary. You're walking in the forest, random white dude, camouflage. I'm like, we're all Mexican. I'm like, I mean, we're fucked. We're screwed.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
So protective, definitely a big thing amongst everyone that I know in my family, but not just me, my father as well, and how I've been raised. I think it gets intense for me because the visualizations pick up unless you can feel it. It's like physical, the things that I may even see. And so some folks may see that. Like, what would you do if someone hurt your friend? And some of my students will be like, I will fucking freak out. Some of us are just like in it. If you tell us that trigger thing, we will zone out and lock in on that visualization. So I just want to make mention of that. When you talk about like Luffy, you know, being this autistic coded character, right? This individual. And he doesn't give a shit about this hierarchy. Now I'm coming back to what the hell I wanted to say. This hierarchy. I like to treat people just normal. Like, I mean, I get that you got a title, but I've gotten in trouble for not calling people, you know, doctor, or not addressing them by sir, or not addressing them by professor. I'm like, why am I getting yelled at right now? Like, I addressed you professionally and honestly and authentically as a human to human. I think about it also when I'm talking about marginalized identities too, and trying to teach young kids, like young men at this fraternity the other day. No one goes into fraternities. My big ass, I got privilege. I can go into fraternity. And it's all white boys. And I'm sure they got a lot of racist shit that they probably think too. But I go in there and I'm teaching them how to be good people, good men, good sons, good individual, good humans. And what does that mean? And, you know, I bring up queer identities and I'm talking about, you know, hey, some of y'all might not agree with this shit. It's fine. Maybe some of y'all don't know nothing, don't like trans people. It's fine. But I'm talking about what is it you as men in this room and how do you love people, protect people? You want to talk about suicide prevention? Because that's what we're talking about. So how do you show up and treat everyone with this love and compassion and empathy? Put all your judgments away. I said, you come around me, I'm going to make sure you feel safe. When I die, you're going to be like, I was around Nas and I felt safe and we laughed. And they said, well, how do we help our brothers out? I said, you do what I just said. All you seniors in here need to be helping out these freshmen and setting the tone. I'm trying to talk to our population is how to help our population because we as men suffer so much. And we cope with these horrible coping skills, drugs, alcohol, increased amounts of like sexual activity, horrible intimacy issues. We blow up internally and then externally on people. We transfer things on people. And it's just a lot of unhealthy things. Violent, you know, going through all the way through suicide, intense. And so days like yesterday were magnificent. That's why I couldn't sleep last night because it was magnificent to reach through to all these awesome young men. And then I started getting the emails at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock. Like, Nas, this was dope as shit. And then they told me some personal stories, and I just want to thank you for showing up and being real with us, because no one does that. It's always presentations. I'm gonna give you stories. And realness. So I was trying to protect those young men yesterday, even if I know some of them are perpetrators of violence, even if I know some of them are sexist, racist, all the isms. Because I know the young people can do better. We can change as people. I firmly believe that. All right. You got any sauce you want to put in there, Michael, before I ask you something about that other character? You don't have to have any sauce.
I mean, I think that is very important to discuss, especially in the realm of autism, because in men, because there is a very real pipeline of autistic vulnerable men to white supremacy and radicalization. So your red pill movement, your Andrew Tates, and people like them prey upon vulnerable autistic men because we are isolated. We struggle to build relationships and connections. We struggle socially. We communicate in different ways. We struggle with alexithymia and emotions.
Yep.
And, we're in a society where men's mental health is, a crisis. Like, there's not a lot of safe spaces for men to explore emotions.
Yep.
And you throw on autism on top of that. So yeah, like there's a lot of need for compassion and curiosity when it comes to like men's mental health, especially in autistic men, because, when you're in environments where, you have people like Andrew Tate that are giving you community, because that's what they do is like they bring you in and they give you the community that you're desperately looking for. And then they give you a target to focus your anger and your hatred and your emotions at. And it doesn't teach self accountability. It doesn't teach like self regulation. It doesn't teach like it doesn't teach all the necessary things for you to actually develop healthy relationships. And so it's just like this perpetual cycle of like vitriol and like people staying unhealthy.
Facts. Very susceptible. I didn't even know who the fuck Andrew Tate was until Spencer told me. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? And Spencer's like, this dude is dangerous. I was like, it can't be that bad. And I was like, holy shit. Did you know about him way back in the day or no?
Me?
Yeah, because I didn't know about him until he came back onto like Twitter and all that.
I didn't know him back in the day, like when he was doing like MMA or whatever.
Yeah.
But you'd see him in like different videos and stuff like that, popping up here and there, and you're like, who the hell is this bald dude with the sunglasses on? And then they started talking, and you're just like, oh, okay, I see.
See, like,
I see.
The one thing that like Andrew Tate is very overt about his hatred of women.
Yep.
But then you have people like Jordan Peterson, who's very covert about his hatred of women and a lot of like different, like very toxic and radical thinking. And because he's an educated person, he's intelligent, he is relatable, and he says a lot of like really good things, but then he kind of breaches into places where it's like, this is not healthy thinking, and like it's very easy to be susceptible to those types of people as well.
Spencer, do you know who that person is he just mentioned?
Jordan Peterson?
I didn't know who this person is. Real quick, my nephew sent me something. Highly educated lawyer out of Georgetown, one of the best fucking law schools in the world. And he sent me this stuff. He said, Nas, what do you think? I said, okay. Because I'm always skeptical. I don't really trust no one on social media. I don't really, because I'm like, why are you posting this shit? And I'm looking at it, I'm like, sus. And he's like, why is it sus? Sends me another video, sus. And I'm like, well, and then more. And he's like, well, you're not giving him a chance. I said, no, the shit that he's saying is cultish. The shit that he's saying is harming other men and other people. So, Michael, this is a good topic to talk about because other women and folks that listen to this should know too. Who the hell is this Michael Peterson guy? How the hell, why are you talking about him?
Like Jordan Peterson? Yeah.
Jordan, not Michael Peterson.
Yeah.
That Michael Peterson's a good guy. I don't know who that guy is.
Who fuck
Michael
with Michael
Peterson.
Peterson?
Yeah, that's a good white man.
I'm just trying to sell houses in this market.
Let's talk about that real quick.
But yeah, Jordan Peterson is like
A therapist?
like this. Yeah, well,
No, psychologist.
I mean, he is,
Yeah.
but like not a very good one. But yeah, that's the reason why he is has this following, right? Like he is an educated person, right? Like,
Educated.
and so he has knowledge of mental health, but then he throws his own personal bias into it, and then he kind of throws in kind of like language that is very anti-woman, and then very much like masculine
Masculine.
alpha type, presenting things like that. So like but he speaks in a way that unless you know what you're looking for, you start agreeing, right? Like, and your example is like, oh, you're not giving him a chance. Like, that's kind of how you get roped into it, is because he says just enough right things to get you pulled in, and you start listening, and you start agreeing, and and there you go. Like, you start kind of exhibiting some more like behaviors that are like, oh, I'm a man, I should be manly, and very binary gender roles type stuff,
Yep.
and so it especially for people that are autistic, like it can that's a pipeline, right? And like there's some things with Jordan Peterson that are very like kind of white supremacy, and there's
Yep.
dangerous things that like, and there's like dog whistles and stuff like that, like, and if you dog whistles are inherently hard to catch because that's by design, right?
Yep.
Like if you think of a dog whistle, the only people that can hear it are dogs. So like when people say things, it's for people that know, right? And you have to like educating on that stuff is really difficult because there's a
Difficult.
lot, and if you don't know and you start hearing it, like you just, it sounds logical, it sounds right, and you start agreeing, but then you perpetuate that dog whistle, and then you perpetuate that, and then it spreads.
Spence, I would love to send you some clips of him, but then it's going to fuck up my algorithm.
Yeah.
And I don't want to.
I just looked him up. I think I've seen him on socials before. I probably have.
You have.
Right. Also, he's Canadian.
Good looking white man, dresses in a suit, good hair.
Good looking white man.
I'm not gonna lie, he's a good looking dude. He gets pretty privileged.
Yeah.
Suits are always awesome, and so people are like, "Holy shit, this motherfucker's come from money. He knows what he's talking about. He's educated. Uses the words. He's suave. He's a wooer. He's a little sociopathic. He's a wooer."
Has 9 million followers on Instagram. That's lovely.
Yep.
That's good.
Yeah, he has a massive audience.
Massive audience. I got students that send me his shit, and then I was like, and then the student that sent him to me, I'm like, this ain't a good man.
Right.
Not a good man.
It's one of those things where, like, if someone says they listen to like Joe Rogan, Jordan Peterson, or Andrew Tate, it's an immediate red flag.
Yep. We got to start thinking about, what are they listening to? What are they saying? What are they thinking? How are they interpreting? What are they saying? It can
be for everything though, right? Like,
yeah,
shouldn't that be for everything?
Yeah.
But yet we nitpick on kind of what we defend and what we don't and stuff like that, and because we have our own biases and everything like that. But
it's good
you should
to
always be cautious.
Always be cautious. But some people just drink the Kool-Aid, bro.
Yeah,
True.
like if you do listen to those things, ask questions, research, look into things. Like it's one of those things is like educate yourself based off of what other people say, right? Like I never expect anyone to take everything I say and
Is the truth,
believe it
the gospel.
100%
Yep.
all of the time, right?
Yep.
Like I want people to challenge me. I want people to research. I want people to like fact check me. Like I want that, but it's people like Jordan Peterson and Andrew Tate and Joe Rogan that they don't want to be fact checked, and when they are fact checked, they don't do anything about it. That's also like, are the people that you're following, do they have integrity enough to update their perspective? can you take in new information and
as it's
change
presented,
your your viewpoint on something?
your consciousness.
If a person cannot do that, then that might not be a person you want to consume their content or be around.
Yeah, you don't need to take it as like the Bible. Thank you for that, and speaking on some of that, because this is also good things for, because a lot of women listen to the podcast that identify as women. This would be also good things for them to know too. If like they're sending you shit or reels, or you're seeing them, start paying attention now. Okay, real quick. So this character, he says some stuff, and I don't know, I can't remember everything. And he says, I was dying, and he's like, I wanted to do something right. He was doing like a little soliloquy there, and I was like, that was some pretty good shit. Do you remember what the hell he actually said? I don't know if you got the tism to remember what he said.
Yeah, he was. So the context of that too is he was part of a gang, a pirate gang, actually earlier in the season. That in the pirate gang that he was a part of, took over, uh, not Robin's, Nami's village. Right, so he was part of Arlong's crew.
Oh yeah.
And Arlong's crew like terrorized Nami's village for years. And so Hachi was trying to make amends for that because like he was part of this gang and crew, not gang, but pirate crew, um, and regretted his actions, right? So like that's another kind of thing where we're talking about like making changes and growth, and he did commit these atrocities, right? Like he committed these crimes, and his soliloquy was like, I wanted to do something good with my life to like show how sorry I am, to try to make up for the things that I did, that he did. So like, yeah, like that's kind of the whole story behind that.
Awesome. It's a great visualization and metaphor, Spence. Like for those of us that are hyperphantasia, alexithymia, this is what it looks like. This is when people are like, hey, we've got a lot of fucked up past. Maybe we were toxic in the past, me and you joking, maybe bullying people, whatever it was. And then we're like, I got some stuff to make up for. And you hope that you leave a good thing for others. It maybe also gave me the flashbacks of like Darth Vader at the end there, when he sacrifices himself for like his son at the end, right? It's that instant change that changes the whole universe. So I just thought it was really good.
Yeah, and I think one of the hardest things for anyone to do is to confront their own like harm, right? Like to actually look at the behaviors that you have done and go, oh, I hurt people.
It sucks.
Right? Yeah, it sucks. It's really, really uncomfortable. But it's something that we have to do, right? Like it's something that we have to confront. And if you're someone that struggles with alexithymia, processing those emotions can be really difficult because you're just angry. You don't know why you're angry. Yeah, and then you have to be like, oh, I'm the asshole, and then you don't know how to deal with that emotion, right? Like what do I do with this now that I realize that I'm the problem, you know? And yeah, it's emotional regulation issues, like trying to regulate that, to process that, to understand like where do you go
From here.
from that realization? Like it's like I don't know what to do with this. Like how do I make amends? Like what like do I go to the people that I hurt and apologize to them? Which honestly is most likely the wrong thing to do because most people that you hurt don't want to ever see you again. So how do you get closure? Yeah. It's a lot to deal with.
An autistic mind will explode with this. So I've got clients coming in from the summer with like, I've just fucked up everything in my friend group. I'm the biggest piece of shit on earth and I should die. And I'm like, pause. We'll figure this out. But all they're doing is thinking about it and obsessing about it. And I'm horrible and I'll never be able to make amends. And I can't say I'm sorry. And how I become a better person, all of that. It can get really toxic. But eventually you'll get through it and past it and they'll grow and they'll learn. Hopefully they seek consultation, right? My clients are working with me. Spence, I mean, yesterday was a wild day. I fucked up in group therapy like horrifically yesterday. And then I had the client come in today. I was like, we need to talk. Because I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but whatever. It's a communication error. Didn't want fully informed consent of why I wanted the one client to join group therapy instead of individual. Person got really hurt. A lot of stuff happened. It's fine. It changed the dynamic and how they came in a group, which was, fine. But then it blew up. Everything's handled and fixed now. It took me 24 hours to fix it all. But bro, I had to go in there and apologize. I hurt this individual. This individual thought I was throwing them away or that I was mad at them, that I was going to treat them like a bunch of other white counselors, this brown individual. And I'm like, nah, homie, I put you in there with all my other kids that I love. I want to see you more frequently, weekly in group therapy, not just once every 3 weeks for a month. So I admitted to my mistakes and he said, don't worry about it. It's fine. I said, no, I fucked up. You don't have to accept the apology. Just know that I fucked up. I wasn't clear. My autistic ass was just like, you'll be fine. Sent you an email. You'll be good. Is what it is. So we all fuck up. I just wanted to put some respect on that. Let's get into this last scene. Let's get out of here. This is just a funny one.
Yeah.
Bugs.
Bugs. Have you heard about bugs?
Sure have. Sure have.
Yeah.
Have you ever been on a quest and you're like, I'm going to stop for a second and find these books.
Look at this beetle.
Yeah. That shows like the funny and lighthearted side of things, right? Like, and the passion that we can have for things that should be celebrated, right? Like, and that's why I chose this scene, because like Luffy is like info dumping on Chopper about these beetles, and then at the end Chopper asks him like, oh, what's more important, the One Piece, the whole reason why you're on this grand quest, your motivation, your dream, or bugs? And he's like, I can't decide. Like, he couldn't decide. He's like, that's a hard question. And that's very real, right? Like, when we are really passionate about something, we put everything into that, and like we consume it, and like it's what makes us happy, and like those things should be celebrated, and like it doesn't have to be anything, that you have to turn into a commodity, right? Like it can just be a pastime. It can just be something you love, right? Like you don't have to make money from it. You just like, if you love bugs, amazing. If you love sharks, amazing. If you love Lego, if you love Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, whatever, like whatever your special interest is, like that should be celebrated.
Yep. History, like there you go.
There you go.
This is the way.
Mm-hmm.
This is interesting. I got a person I'm working with, and their partner loves bugs. Immediately, I'm like, they're autistic.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, there were some other data set points too, and I was like, and you're autistic. Most likely, you're talking to someone besides the point, and they love bugs. That's their special interest. But they're an exterminator.
No.
I was like, so you love them, but you murder them? I thought that was
murder
interesting.
What you don't love.
I don't know. I was like, maybe it's like bug control. It's like, stopping the wolf population. I was like, what do you think about this, Michael?
I love wolves.
Honestly, I think it makes a lot more sense, because someone who is very passionate and knowledgeable about bugs probably knows the best and safest ways to control populations and to prevent damage and prevent harm, especially if it's like an ecosystem thing. Like, what if these are invasive species of bugs that don't belong here? They need to be removed. They need to be taken out because they're damaging the ecosystem. So like, yeah, like someone who's really passionate about something is probably the best person to handle that.
Fuck, that was fucking awesome. Yeah. These are when he was talking, I was like, this is like the best and safest and harm reduction way to do it. I was like, this hello bugs.
Hello. Jesus.
These were not harmed. I'm going to hell for that one. Sorry for anyone that is Muslim. Sorry. I'm going right to hell. I know. That was such a fucking great answer for that. Fuck.
That was.
Who better to work with that population? You're right. There you go. Feel like a fucking idiot.
Look at yourself. Like, you're working with those who are autistic.
It makes
Because
sense.
you have autism,
But I'm not
right?
murdering them. No, he's murdering some of
Well,
them.
you know, I don't know. I saw the bones in the backyard. You know, I don't know what they were.
Those are the dogs that I ate from my neighbors.
Oh,
Michael's like,
Now I'm hungry.
I know who you telling.
either one dog or dinosaur chicken nuggets. I don't know which one. I don't know.
So this is why my last piece is I have a lot of magnificent humans that I work with, and they love their special interest, but sometimes that special interest will that when they're talking and info dumping could go too long, and other people are like, hey, this is narcissistic, or you're boring, or whatever it is, or they're too much. And sometimes I'll tell them, are you talking to another person that's neurodivergent or not? Because neurotypical will be like, this is terrible. But another neurodivergent person, maybe like me, an autistic person, like I love learning new things. And if like you're knowledgeable about it, you know, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
But sometimes it can be a little too dry or a little too like one-sided. But like sometimes, man, when it's really educational, I'm like, oh, there's like one person I'm thinking of here. Spencer actually met him during when my homie came over for like Thanksgiving, the big boy.
Oh, yeah.
That
Yeah,
motherfucker
that dude
can
was cool.
info dump about some shit, boy. And I just be like, yup.
Yeah. And I think that's where we learn the self-regulation and learning how to process rejection as well. Like when people are not as passionate about the things that we are, you know, and not taking it personally. It's a good way to do it. Like, you know, because I'm ADHD and autistic, right? Like, so I'm very interested in learning, but there are times where my brain cannot focus.
Yeah.
And it's not a personal thing. It's just like my brain is struggling to pay attention. So I'm going to glaze over, right? Like you're going to lose me. It's not a personal thing.
It just is what it
It's
is.
my brain is struggling. So like I will do my best to on my side of the conversation of like, hey, I honestly like I love your passion. I really want to learn about this, but I'm struggling to keep up with it right now. So maybe we can talk about this later.
Yep.
Right? Like, you know, and so like that's how I try to like mitigate some of that potential like rejection. But I think it's important for us to like if someone's not interested in what we are, to be like, oh, okay, like you're just not interested, and that's okay. I'm gonna go on my way and still be happy about my interests.
There you go. I know my special interest is like my job and working with humans. And so that can get intense. I remember being on a date and she's like, shut the fuck up. I was like, huh?
Dude, it's like mental health has always been a big part of like my life. You know, my dad has Gulf War syndrome. Like that was a big thing, impactful thing. I dated someone with severe OCD. Like that was like incredibly intense. Like with the OCD that I had, like you know, my own mental health and everything. So like ever since getting my diagnosis, I've funneled all of that into like my special interests, and like it's really hard to turn off.
Yep.
Right. Like I talk about mental health, I talk about ADHD, I talk about autism, I talk about self-improvement and betterment and understanding and compassion and all this other stuff. And like it's really difficult to turn off. And sometimes hard to talk about other things.
Yep.
You know, I have other passions, like I'm learning to be a voice actor, I'm a writer, I play video games, I'm a Twitch streamer, I have a bunch of other passions, but like my special interest is mental health.
Yep. There it is. Man, I'm glad I had you on the pod finally, because I consider you as like one of the homies, a friend on social media, right? Which is kind of weird to say. I got social media friends.
Hey, I actually just got back from a trip meeting in person for some of them for the first time, people that I met on social media. So like social media friends, content creator friends, they're real friends to me.
Yeah. Were they all perverts? Oh, it's a joke.
I mean, some profile pictures were not the same. No. There was a little bit of catfishing going on.
It's fine.
The orgy was a little weird. But,
oh my God. I'm gonna kick over Spence, but much appreciation, man. I love that you came on. Love the content that you brought today. Love the things that you do.
I'd love to be here. This is my special interest. So like I could talk for 5 hours about this. Like let's keep going. No, but yeah, I appreciate being here
Yeah.
and doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. And we definitely would love to have you back at some point. Do whatever show you want to do, movie, whatever. Doesn't matter. But yeah, we would love to have you back again because it was a great time. Any plugs that you would like to get out there for the people that are listening?
Yeah, so you can find me ADH Druids. There's only one D. A lot of people will get double D. My brain.
Be careful now.
Yeah. ADH Druids. I'm a Twitch streamer, so that's a passion of mine. So if you enjoy Twitch, come check me out. We play story-based games. I talk about ADHD, autism. We're very mental health friendly in the community, very neurodivergent friendly in the community. Discord community. We have the peer support group. It's every Sunday evening at 7 p.m. Central. We are looking to expand into other groups, but we just have to find people to facilitate. Dueling Minds .org. That is where you can find information about the nonprofit. Yeah, I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but yeah, if you are on social media, ADH Druids is usually where I'm at.
Okay. It'll all be
All
plugged and tagged. Yep.
Yep. All right, Michael, thank you so much once again. And with that, I'm Spencer. That's Nas, Different Spectrums Podcast.
All right, everyone. Take care. Much love. And remember, take care of yourself. I fucked it up.
Or don't.
That's completely up to you. Bye.
God damn.
I fucked it up.